One thing that I know that I'm capable of 100% without any doubt is I can work really hard. I don't have to trust in just like a hope that something is going to go right, or that I'm going to get lucky, or I'm going to get a break. I really don't care about those things. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And I don't care how much work it takes, and I don't care how many extra hours I have to put in. I don't care how many TV shows I miss. I don't care if I'm not hanging out with my friends. I know that I can do work. One of those subconscious connections to working out, you know what I mean? Stable approach to how I approach anything is I'm going to outwork anything that can get in my way. Things can happen, random problems can occur, stops and things that get in the way. But I know that if I'm willing to just push and push and push, then I can overcome them.
And I just discount personally emotions and feelings. I just don't really care how I feel about things. Like, I can turn that off. For work, that's very true. I do not care how I feel about things when it comes to work. In fact, I don't even trust my feelings. Like, certain feelings that I have about things, it's almost like that tells me that I should just do the opposite. So there's that time factor or willingness to work hard, actually work hard, long hours, push through the bullshit, where I have a strong purpose for what I'm doing, but it's not that all of those hours of work every week are thrilling. There's a lot of stuff that if I were to sit and think about it too much, I'd probably like demotivate myself to even want to do it.
You gotta pursue something you absolutely love.
I think though you gotta watch out for that though, because you have people say like, oh, you gotta find your passion or whatever, but a lot of people, they don't know what they're passionate about. They don't know what they could even be passionate about. And I think that one, you're not going to be passionate about something that you're not good at. That's for fucking sure.
Yes, okay, find something that you're passionate about. But once again, to get passionate about something, passion, in my opinion, kind of begins as a curiosity, as it's just something you might be interested in. That's something you could get passionate about.
And, it's not a matter of like, oh, well, I'm just lucky because I'm so passionate about what I do that I can just say. That's not even true. Like, yeah, I have passion for what I'm doing, but it doesn't mean that every day I'm super excited to do every task that I have to do.
Like I'm passionate about writing, but initially my interest in writing was simply like, I like to read. So I was like, I like to read. I probably could write stuff. And that was really that was the thought. Like, I could probably learn to write. It wasn't like at 3 years old, I'm sitting at a typewriter forming my first poems or something. And that's how it started. So run with whatever kind of interests you have. And once you have something that you go, this is cool, I could see myself doing this, then it's time to just pour in the work, just pour in the effort.
Be so good that they can't ignore you. Get really, really, really good at something. It is the simplest way to take control of your destiny, in a sense. That even if they don't like you, they see what you're doing and they're just like, that's good. Like, I don't even like that guy, but he's good. A lot of the people that, aren't making as much money as they'd like to make, or their businesses aren't doing as well as they'd like them to do or whatever. A lot of these people have no real skills. They're not really, really good at anything. Maybe they're okay at a couple things. Like, sure, they have strength as a personality. Everybody has that, but something specific that took thousands of hours to cultivate. That is another kind of comes back to grind and work ethic.
There are a million people out there that are okay at things. No. Get really, really good at something and then get out there. So with the internet, it's so easy now to get things out there. And if you are really good at something, you will get noticed. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. You can be really good at an instrument or singing or whatever, and you put a video on YouTube and now you're Justin Bieber. I mean, that's his story, right? All for goal setting and having big goals, but I don't really sit around and think about it too much. Like, I just know where I'm going, and 95% of my attention is on the task in front of me. What am I doing right now? I'm writing this thing because I have to get this little step done, and there are 2,000 more steps that need to occur before the big thing occurs. So who cares about the big thing? Work that takes long periods of time. And when you get that middle part, that's the point when it's just slumpy. In the beginning, you're fired up and you're going, and then in the middle is when you have to just fucking put your ass in the chair and just go. Usually where I'm like, God, is this ever going to end? Am I ever going to actually finish this? So what it kind of comes down for me, and the best way I can express it is I just like to make stuff. I like to make stuff happen, and I like to create things. I like to come up with ideas and see them working in my mind in a certain way, putting them into reality and having that work. That is a fun experience. Some people have fun playing video games. Some people have fun watching TV shows. I have fun doing that. I have fun coming up with ideas and then working on them
until they are, come to fruition and seeing them work.
I know people that have sunk into a kind of numbness, a kind of a general apathy in life, where they're just like, quote unquote, don't care about anything. It's hard to maybe define what happiness is, but I think happiness is pursuing goals that matter to you, that have meaning to you, making progress, kind of going back to the idea of flow, where you are spending your time doing things that are challenging you, that you're getting immediate feedback on, you can see your progress, and you lose yourself in, and you just don't get that experience watching YouTube videos all day.
I know exactly what I'm working toward, and I know this is going to get me there. I'm just doing what it takes to get there, and every week I get a little bit closer. So how is that not fun? Like, what are you talking about?
I think that life itself is inherently purposeless. I think we have to assign it purpose. I don't think that we come into this world with some preordained type of destiny or purpose that we have to find and fulfill, that is waiting for us out there. I think that we have to make it ourselves. Unfortunately, when you see what you think is success and happiness, what you don't see is everything that was done to get there. You see the guy with the house, the car, the this, the that, or whatever, and the money and the vacations, and what you don't see is everything he had to do to get there.
The easier you can get into that flow state doing just about anything, the better off you're going to be in all areas of your life. So it's something I try to kind of cultivate in myself. What are the best experiences that you're going to have in your life? In a lot of cases, they're going to be when you're in this flow state, when you're doing something that's fully engaging, and you lose track of time. I try to spend my time doing things that produce that feeling just because I like it. My work is a flow type of activity for me. What a lot of people that I know think is working hard, to me, is a joke. Like, they talk about mental fatigue after 20 or 30 hours. Like, for that kind of person, I just don't know what to say sometimes. But if you can't work more than 20 or 30 hours without getting mentally fatigued, I don't know what you can do. You know what I mean? You got to toughen the fuck up. I don't know. What's the advice? Honestly, the people that I've known personally that would talk about balance and avoiding burnout and all that were just lazy. I mean, it was just an excuse. In my opinion, whatever you say is too much, whatever you think is too much is going to be too much. If you think that, working any more than 40 hours a week is just too much, then it's going to be too much. If you want kind of an excuse to underachieve, then just decide that you're exhausted. Every day by blah, you're exhausted. And there's a quote from Napoleon where he said that sometimes death only comes from lack of energy. Some of these people, they have no challenge in their life, so of course they're not energetic about anything. Of course they sleep 10 hours a night because they have no reason to wake up. Why? What's the point? I look to what I want to do and what is that going to take? What's my goal? What am I going for? And realistically, what's that going to take? How much effort is that going to take? How much time is that going to take? And I always try to overshoot it and think that it's going to be harder than I think. It's going to take more work than I think. So I better be ready for that, and I better plan for that. Really, like, what's that going to take? Okay, how much more should I add to that to really make it realistic? Okay, am I ready for that? Is that what I'm ready to do? All right, good. And then do it. If something makes sense in my head, if it's a work thing, a marketing idea, a product or whatever, there's a point where, like, I'm done thinking and now I'm just going to get into action. I'm not going to now be questioning, thinking everything. That makes sense to me. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go do it.
Finish everything that you begin. If you say you're going to do something, you take that first step, you're now obligated to finish it. Either don't attempt it or carry it through to the end. If you're going to do something, finish it. If I start this, I'm finishing it. So it also makes me think about what I get into a little bit more. And I don't just like half-heartedly commit to things. And I try to apply that in all areas of life. And
I really, really make a point of trying to finish the things that I start, because I think dropping things and quitting is a terrible habit to get into. I choose my battles carefully. I choose my projects. I try to, I only have so many plates I can keep spinning. But when I start it, I'm going to finish it.
I decided when I looked at it and I said, this is an opportunity. I want to see how this goes. It made sense analytically. So I went and just did it.
On the other hand, if I think really just about anybody, if they decided that working 80 hours a week on projects that they actually wanted to work on, any sort of activities that have some sort of purpose, you're going for something, I think you could do it. There's a point where I'm like, I could just be working. Like, I actually feel like I would rather just be like, this experience is not as good as just I go write an article and I will have a better experience. Be engaged in actions that have purpose. I can't just sit around and watch TV every night. I have such a routine where I know exactly what I'm going to be doing tonight, and there's no way that I'm not going to be working on what I'm going to be working on, and that's just a fact. If it's not like act of God kind of thing, I'm up, and there's just no question. I'm going to be at the gym by that time, and I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to be at the office by this time. And I don't get into like bargaining with myself. You know, I have the voices or whatever that try to say, hey, maybe you should do this, or maybe, you know, you need a bit more sleep. I guess I've beaten them into submission. They just don't even try because they know that there's just no way. They're not going to take me off my routine. I don't have any problem being by myself and just doing what I'm doing. I don't care what other people are doing. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I don't give a shit if there's a party tonight. I don't give a shit if there's a dinner. I don't give a shit if there's a birthday party, whatever. Forget about YouTube, forget about Reddit, forget about fucking social life, forget about everything. If you want to time, like I don't hang out with friends during the week. I don't do anything. All I do is work, spend a little bit of time with my family. That's it. And there's no deviating from that. Like no one even texts me. No one tries to call me because they know it's pointless. I'm never going to say yes. I will not be there. I guarantee you that. People, because then, you know, people are going to hear this and going to be like, oh, that's so sad. What a sad way to live. The amount of time that it took. It wasn't like oh, I work smart, I don't work hard. This internal resistance that we have in us that just is in there to just get in our way and fuck up our lives, basically. If you can just, it takes self-discipline and it takes self-control, but if you can, you know, beat them enough, it just becomes much harder for life and random stuff to derail you. Anything that gets in your way, you can always meet with more aggressive action. And the more aggressively you act, the more things go your way. You kind of learn the power of momentum and how really when you get enough momentum going in a direction, when you do slack a little bit or when things go a little bit off, that 10% of the time, momentum will carry you through. And Sundays I work in the morning and then I go skating in the afternoon and then just kind of work back to work. So just a lot of work, not too exciting. That's it. Yeah, Jerry said they were actually, all right. I'm actually a robot. Yeah, short circuiting here.